Hey, you're here! Let me hear that you're here. That's absolutely fantastic. Welcome to the Rougemont Room at Herstory Festival. My name's Mama Tokus, and I'm hosting tonight, but I'm also a spoken word artist, and I want to talk to you about forgotten black women. Everybody knows about Neil Armstrong, but what about Dr. Mae Jemison, who took a giant leap for womankind as the first black woman in space? Unless you count Uhura, and we do. Role model of a black chick leading from the final frontier. Space jewelry in her fine black ear. Finely tuned to the sounds of the cosmos. June Tyson, Alice Coltrane, the universally conscious, traveling on a different plane to the nearaway place where Mother Earth wants us, safe in her bosom, but always growing. So let the ladies lead us on the path of knowing. These queens not heard or never seen, with the sound turned down too long. Let's change her story, celebrate her rose. It's time to sing her songs. It's time to sing her songs. Did everyone else hear that? These queens not heard and never seen. We're gonna right that wrong. Let's change her story, celebrate her rose. It's time to sing her songs. Well, Grace Jones reigns with the divine right of queens. Aphrodite, she got Athena genes. Forget all that fashion hype. She ain't a model, she's an archetype, goddess-like, with a deity's name. Yeah, she got fame in the image game, but let's leave Miss Jones and talk about the lesser knowns and bring in her fellow Jamaican, a magic black woman. Let us reawaken, bring her back from the brink of forgotten. It's Queen Nanny. She led the slaves' revolt. She caught bullets in her teeth and blew them back from a different hole. Yeah, she devised a strategy to limit slavery. She's up there with Angela Davis, so let us honor the freedom-fighting ladies. These queens not heard and never seen, with the sound turned down too long. Let's change her story, celebrate her rose. It's time to sing her songs. These queens not heard, never seen. It's time to right those wrongs. Let's change her story, celebrate her rose. It's time to sing her songs. Well, female thought leaders seem few. You try and name a lady guru. Were we always supporting actors, or was the airbrush a contributing factor? Not just the airbrush, but the ducking stool, the wise women at the bottom of the village pool, destroyed by femicidal maniacs who cut their own nose off in these attacks, holding us all back. You think that was all back in the day? No way! Misogyny is still in play. It's time to even up the hemispheres. Oh, you ladies, what you say? These queens not heard and never seen, with the sound turned down too long. Let's change her story, celebrate her rose. It's time to sing her songs. These queens not heard and never seen. We're gonna right that wrong. Let's change her story, celebrate her rose. It's time to sing her songs. Thank you. And that's just a little flavour of some of the spoken word that you're going to get tonight. Welcome back to the Rougemont, here for our final event of this evening. You're at Build Your Warrior. Over the next hour, we'll be hearing poetry from 3 Southwest-based artists on the relationship between care and feminism. What's the hashtag? It's hashtag courage. Thank you. Care with courage. Hashtag care with courage. Yeah, the relationship between care and feminism in the work towards equality, and asking, how do we take care of ourselves whilst fighting for our rights? Build Your Warrior is closing out the Herstory Festival, which has brought together poets, activists, librarians, of course it has, oh yeah, curators and communities to explore the unfinished fight for women's rights in the UK through live performance, installations and discussions. We just had a fantastic panel talk earlier on this evening. This festival's theme, like the hashtag, has been caring with courage. And over the last 2 days, we've been asking, how do we care for our sisters and our brothers? Our parents and carers, how do we care for ourselves? Particularly when working together towards equality. How do we care for the stories of women who are marginalised in our city? And what does a city that cares for women look like? Build Your Warrior has been specially produced, programmed and marketed by 7 brilliant young people. Can we hear from them? That's more than 7, but yeah. They're aged 18 to 25, and as part of Poet in the City's Young Producer Programme, they've been supported to help put on this special section of the night. A massive well done to Zoe, Jazz, Dan, Jithya. Can people clap while I do this? Zoe, Jazz, Dan, Jithya, Abby, Daniel and Michaela. They've sweated, poor things, over the past few months, working with Poet in the City. And they've been mentored along the way by India McLean, Rebecca Tantony and Chris White to produce this very event. So let's hear it for them one more time. Young producers! Okay, here's quite an important bit. The first audience members that came in tonight, they got a care package created by the young producers to give us all a little bit of self-care. It includes tea, great idea, straight away, stickers and sweet treats, along with the QR code for the audience poem. Yeah. Let's see it, reach for your care package. Who's got the care package? Who's got a care package? Wave your packages. Ha-ha. Keenly waving here. Less keenly here. Have you all got them? I like the rustle in the bags. That's nice. Well, they're very important, right? They're very important because it's going to be a way to share the care around. And, crucially, we're closing out tonight's performance with a poem generated with suggestions by you. Was that a good woo, or are you really frightened? Are you a bit scared or elated and excited? Bit of both. Yeah, you're going to have to do some work, guys. Basically, we would love it if you'd head to the QR code. It's going to be tricky because you're going to be watching some wicked poetry in a minute. So, you're going to be a bit torn. But head to that QR code, provided in the goodie bags, post it around the room, and answer our prompt. We want to hear examples of acts of self-care that feel inherently feminist. Examples of self-care that feel feminist to you. I want to send in your suggestions between each performance. So that's right, concentrate on the performance. Don't be doing the QR thing when someone's stepping up and giving you their heart and soul, right? One of our very special guest poets tonight, Holly, she'll be busy putting your suggestions. She's not relaxing either. She's putting your suggestions together into this massive generated Build Your Warrior poem. I can't even say that. Which she will perform at the end. So that's brilliant. Now for our first performer, poet based in the Southwest who writes about the feminine gaze, queerness and pop culture with a savoir-faire kind of intimacy. Her work was shortlisted for the Bridport Prize in October 21, and she was Bristol's Lyra Slam champion in April the same year. She managed all of that whilst graduating from Bath Spa University with an MA in creative writing. And she's one to look out for. She's also doing the QR code. It's Holly Moberly. Big shout.
Hello. Right, I think I might, I'm a little bit too short. So thank you, I appreciate it. I don't think it's not going to go down anymore, but that's fine. Hi, it's nice to meet you all. My name is Holly Moberly. Can you all hear me? Is that okay? Yeah? Great. Fab. Yeah, it's lovely to be here. I'm really excited to be supporting some amazing poets. I thought we can maybe start the evening just by doing a couple of vocal exercises if you guys are in. A bit of audience participation. Yeah, why not? Yeah, we've got some nodding from Chris. Great. So I've been watching, I'm constantly watching Midsummer with Florence Pugh, but one of the things I love about that film is the way that they show community and sound, and how that community of people uses sound to show like a relationship and a strength through times of horror. And so I thought, why not kind of play around with sound too? And why don't we try and like replicate the sound that they use in Midsummer? So I've got a couple of sounds that I want us to make today. The first one is called reverse breathing, and the people use it in Midsummer as like a verbal hello. And it's the one where they go like this, they go, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it first, and then if you guys are happy to just join in as well, it'll be me 3 times, then you 3 times, and we'll do that collectively 3 times. How do we feel? Feeling up for it? Yeah? Yeah? Great. Okay, so here we go. Fab. Now you guys. Amazing. Okay, so me. And now you guys. Amazing. I didn't realize how lightheaded this would make me feel. I might need a bit of water. And finally, one more final time. And now you guys. Amazing. You're great. We should all start a cult. So this next noise, and the last one I'm going to make you do before I move on with my set, is called the sunset ah, and it's kind of like the noise you'd make when you see a beautiful sunset. So it goes like this. It's ah, 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 ah. And now you guys try. Ah, 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 ah. Amazing. And we'll do that 2 more times as well. So ah, 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 ah. And now you guys, sorry, amazing, and one more time, amazing, you are great, thank you. And thank you for following my very confusing advice, you did great. So this first poem is called Harley Quinn Keeps a Hyena in Her Flat. Yes, it sleeps in the bath, and no, she doesn't care about the fleas. This is true love, and like Harley said, you have to feed it. Harley spends approximately half of the film with her mouth full. She's either deep-throating cream cheese or drooling over a takeaway. In a film where the breakfast bap is a main character and chicks can break a man's leg every time he calls her a slag, Harley limps hungover through town with a jacket made of danger tape. All the men in that city want her dead. They think she's been attracting the wrong kind of attention, like how you act around men would make a crumb of difference. Harley shares a bowl of cereal in solidarity with a kid who has no one, until they become just a couple of no ones shredding through Gotham. I'm a sucker for female friendships. But Bryce on his Facebook review says, "This is the worst film I've ever seen." How alienated he feels. I think, have you ever watched men punching other men for 2 hours straight? It's like visual white noise where every crackle is the same double kick. Yes, Harley keeps a hyena in her flat. They even kiss. Can you imagine the smell? Hyena's breath, its gullet, where the raw things die a second time. I hope it makes you feel sick, Bryce. How Harley mouths over warm dead meat. How she never forgets her thank yous and then gets rude with a baseball bat. Imagine. Character development in the supermarket aisle. I'd like to see you try, Bryce. This is not just a film anymore. This is Harley's liberation. Do you know what that means for growing girls? That you can bounce back, that so many of us made the same mistake. We all went looking for love. We called it emancipation. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. And this next poem is about consent. It's about knowing when to take no as an answer, which is always, when someone says no, they mean no. You have to take it that way. And it's called Splitting an Orchid Over the River Avon. for ceremony, to banish the boy who left them on the doorstep of my flat and fled. This much loved, the serial killer precision of his hand, the curls that quivered and laid claim to my name. This made me think of you reads like a curse. The dank U-bend of toilet, that shifting eye behind a portrait. And no, when it's gory and washed down the sink. Thank you. Cheers. Great, so this next one is about not knowing what you want to do with your life and that being totally okay because you've got loads of time. And it's called TMI, or Too Much Information. I used to trundle down the tracks of my days like a freight train. Same old routes, same old predictable ways. You don't realize you're bored to the bone until one joint hurts less. But now I get up and nobody cares. I stub my toe and don't tell a soul. I write a poem for no one in particular. This last month I watched 3 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and got addicted to crumpets. Nobody will know this except my overcarved stomach, what a lonely atom I've become. One carriage will rattle and go missing, but the train keeps pushing on. I keep saying I like it here, but really, I want to close my eyes and wake up in Yellowstone, where the skyjays mistake you for some trivial seed. Oh, to be sucked up through a bird's beak. Oh, to be taken unawares into the bedroom of another creature. What tender chaos. Isn't it all so exciting? I used to know what I wanted to do with my life, but now I get up and each new day is flirting with a car crash or winning the lottery. What about getting eaten by a shark? It's a 1 in 3.7 million chance. It could still happen. We each go on living like we aren't a little miracle. My dad once jumped on a Portuguese man-of-war. He almost drowned. We saw him writhing around in the water and thought he was playing a prank. Typical dad. Always a drama queen. Someone wasn't getting enough attention. God, aren't humans so funny? Look at them go. Aren't they all so good at being lonely at the same time? Thank you. Cheers. So this next poem is about kind of women's positions in like the magic industry. It's about being a bystander to violence and your responsibility to call it out when you see it, and consciously, putting into practice what we preach, which is so important and is the theme of this event as well. So it felt important to perform this one. And it's called Houdini's Rabbit on Her Time in the Hat. You want to know how he did it. All these years and the questions are still the same. I'm big for a rabbit, but all these men are bigger. It's why women are assistants and never magicians. Don't they have such small hands? If you work them too hard, won't they shrivel like beach starfish, gasping? Before Houdini, I saw countless men throw daggers through women, strapped to a spinning circus wheel on Coney Island. The crowds went wild, dropping candy floss and chirping, "Good show, old sport, good show," like a room full of hungry birds. What wouldn't I have done for a shred of lettuce back then? I let the girls spin on like rotisserie, their eyes wide shut, tracing out prayers, asking for forgiveness from some fatal deficiency. Like me, they were taught to curl in on themselves in the dark. Thank you. Cheers. Okay, and so this is the final poem before I run away and work on that improv poem that I know you guys are really excited to help me with. Yeah, great, okay. And it's called Kiki's Delivery Service, or The Reason I Haven't Given Up All Hope of Being a Feminine Artist. A young witch flies the nest. This is her story. She has a fringe and the night sky for a dress, so naturally I identify. Kiki moves to the big city not knowing her skill. But the gap year fortune teller rides beside her on a better broom. She is dripping good luck from her lips like a threat. Even her cat has better posture. Still Kiki persists. Fiery little witch. She starts an indie delivery service that would put Jeff Bezos to shame. In the last segment, She learns how to feed the inner artist from a woman named Ursula, discovers that we all have buildings for bodies, and hers is a cabin in the woods doted on by crows. She comes to realize if you ever feel lost, you need only come back to yourself, to that sacred treehouse where no one grows old and found memories keep the floorboards nailed to the ground. In Miyazaki's film, there is no villain, but capitalism is big enough, is bad enough, and it bloats like an airship in the center of town. Tombo, the flight enthusiast, grips onto it by a fraying rope. The shoppers herd below him with not a single hand free to catch him. In the nick of time, Kiki finds her spark. Her broom rises, powered by yellow light and inspiration. She is the Duracell bunny, electricity in the air, the smell of weather turning, her love palpable. Every voice in her head telling her that this should be impossible liquefies. Thank you, you've been great, and I'll see you soon.
Holly Mobley. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. That seems to be like the perfect bedrock to bounce the ideas that you're already having for our crowd-sourced poem, right? Our crowd-generated poem. Have you had any ideas yet? Yeah, said someone. That's it. I'm going to take that as a yes. Wait a minute, you're one of the producers. Has anyone else had an idea? Let's prompt you again. So this is ideas for things that you do that feminist acts of self-care. And it's open to the guys, obviously, because, join in. Because we need you to be doing it sometimes, as well. Doing feminism as well. Everyone's included. So inherently feminist acts of self-care. Have some ideas. Send them to the QR code in your little goodie bag. Oh, hang on. And while you're at it, if you're sharing on any of your socials, it's #CareWithCourage. So say how you feel. Give Poet in the City a mention. Share your ideas there. But also look up and look at the stage as well. Because our next poet is an artist, trans girl, and gender witch. I love that term so much. Living in Bristol. Her work is on being a body and not being one. Listening to fairies, devotion, trans stuff, and necromancy. Necromancy. Just want to say it like that. Her book-length poem about Bigfoot, There's Always Things Falling Out the Sky. A collaboration with Roxytopia and Paddy Gould. It was published earlier this year by Pink Sands Studio. But she's also found time to write some wicked, wicked poetry. This is Sammy Paloma. Cheers, Sammy.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. So I've got a game for you, which is I'm going to give you 2 words for each possible poem that you could choose. For the first poem, should I do it in this? Is that better? Okay, sorry. Dancing or bratty? Bratty? Okay, that's pretty clear. Great. Then it is this one, called Born Again and Bratty. Tree broke down, dead parts, feeding all the bits again. Just because life grows on doesn't mean there's not lost time indoors. These are my bratty years, completely unfinished. Poppets are such a trans feel, the bit where you bury yourself and walk away, no looking back. You know you have to do that last bit or it just doesn't work. A weird phrase, born again. My first period at 35, clit split in sex, soaked in black blood, price for dying to not stay the same. Most magic, some kind of blood is let. All new worlds are built on the dead. Do you want a poem about being a power bottom or Kurt Cobain? Power bottom? All right. It's not really about being a power bottom. It's just an easy phrase. It's actually about bottoming a woodland. Cheeks bunch over this log. The woodland floor eats your arse out. Burrow graves. Woods get up in there. It's not exactly sexy, but not exactly not. Welts pink from nettle burr, brought low, raised from the dead. Bluebells die before you're home. It's so fucking beautiful, isn't it? Have you sun cream, thrown salt, sworn oaths? Obv's not. You tread in dog shit. Are you going to stop? What's the least invasive way to clean it off? Don't. If your arse is tense, spread across the log, sing its song. Ghosts listen. If soft, sing that instead. Ghosts listen. Many dance too. Spirit and matter aren't the same. It's not a one-to-one ratio. Strips of flaky bark across the floor. A single piece, both souvenir and door. Will you take one home? If so, which and why? If so, will you ask this time? What will you leave in its place? What loss do you face? Graves burrow, earth and cheeks, red as yewberry smudge. The anus is a flower now. Hawthorn blooms, white, pink, and piss. Your nose a proboscis, rectum rooted to the hedge. We're not called fairies for nothing. Ghosts live here. We never leave. How many did you count while you borrowed their house? Did you meet and greet while you had your arse eaten out? Holes open can close, the nub of your hole in and out of this world. Do you trust of what and where you surrender you? Anal necromantics calling ghosts of places too. Your sex is vital, Violet. The ways you have and don't have sex are vital, older than time. You hold a triangle-shaped rock in your hand. It's warm and stays so. The log you're on is a hole and the rock is a key. You switch, top the dead length of tree with one of the three. Two together, you're with other things, limbs raised. Shake slow, and if this was a graveyard, you would look like a right goth right now. The folds of your hole beneath the earth bloom. Body-made prayers of damp catacombs. Trying to work out time. Okay. We'll see if we can do this. Maybe if I go really fast. Ghosts or Clutie wells? Fair. I did make a way of telling myself what I meant by that. Okay, there we go. So, I'm currently writing a choose-your-own-adventure novel. So this is like a section from that. But you don't, I mean, this is, you get to choose the poem, so that's as much as you get. It's called Ignore Power. Ignored of power too. In sewers sound loud, woozy smell, where the grief goes when want gone. It's a party, but nothing works. The dance floor wet, slippy, morose ghosts drag guts, gather goop, grow gore, trains, bartender pours bottles into phosphorescent puddles. The whole room a mirror ball, walls sparkling shards. You get close and see your face in a thing stitched with gristle and bone and love. It asks you to dance, but you just hug for the duration of the song, clothes stained with blood, the queer party of your dreams. Sobbing isn't dangerous here, it's encouraged. The gristle and bone-stitched thing says in your ear, just trying to make the most of a shitty situation, but given choice between passing on and staying, we'd all choose the former. But people up there got to deal with their shit first. Tell them for us, will you? A rat riding a fatberg window into the future passes by your feet. You're seeing a caregiver. They've forgotten your name, And it's not clear who they're talking to, like they're talking to ghosts you can't see. Did a sweep of the room as you entered, but there's always places to hide. But no, it's you they're talking to. They've just forgotten your name. The name they hang from you, an old one. You don't even turn in the street when people use it nowadays. You remind them, but all they see is the ghost. Something rotting, but it's not you. They put this blanket with eye holes over your head. It's cut flowers to them. Talk about aphids eating flowers, how neem oil kills best. Someone brings cake, but you ask them not to sing. They ask for your arm and hold your breath. You're doing so well. Make noises and someone makes them back and it's all kind of bearable. It's almost like time passes normal, but also a hammer big enough doesn't exist. You leave, spit on the ground and can cry. It gave little, took much. How it goes sometimes. Ground becomes another place. You pour water and gift of flowers on side of road. Speak to spirits, huge fucking spirits beneath your feet. Mud, nettles, fly, thistle, horse shit, fluoro, tennis, ball fluff, no matter how size. Some spirits are sharks, some whales, some plankton. The ones you want are the ones who'll eat. Take it as a gift. Good rotting. Hand in mud, up in your nails, clay cakes to palm. Cut flowers were meant for the ghost, not you. Give thanks to sharks. Sometimes rituals are stopgaps to get through the next 10 minutes, the next hour, through to tomorrow, and that's good enough. You got time for one more? A little one, all right. Well, it's not a little one, but I'll say it really quickly. I've done that one. So there's only one choice, actually. So you don't get to choose. The last one is a bit from the book that was mentioned, which I've got some copies of, if you wanted to buy one, called There's Always Things Falling Out the Sky, which is about Bigfoot. And it's beautifully illustrated. So this is about an encounter with Bigfoot. Beamed back to the sky, but it's only the lower half. Their upper body keeps moving. There's a black hole where a face should be, and a whole lot of thick fur, longer than a bear's, with healthy bounce. This cryptid conditions their fur. Infrasound whines, the vision splits, and I'm shitting myself because you're a floating, hairy torso with a black hole on top. I did not expect that, and these are the only words I have for you. You're so much more than the word Bigfoot could contain, but I open my arms and try to ask if you'd like a hug. Do you do hugs? And the black hole and me stare at each other, and then with no interval, my arms are full, and there's this spectral fur all around me, like embracing the ghost of a dry-cleaned Wookiee costume. And we both sigh, and nostrils sting a little with sulfur, rotting egg smell, but I probably reek too. We hold each other. Time doesn't exist, and we stay there for a minute, but it isn't a minute. It's as long as it takes for safe and secure. Like, no matter what happens in the world, we both carry that hug with us now. This hug is a warding. And we've only just met, but I tell you how I want us to hug every one of mine and every one of your friends, the kind muscles make memories of. Hugs like deep tissue massage. There's 4 arms wrapped around you, and you just say when your store's filled up, take your time. It doesn't exist, dear friend. We're not in a hurry. At least that's what I'd like. How about you? Here's something. Everyone calls you a him, but you're just hairy, aren't you? They pulled that shit on Herstory femmes, called them witches, and maybe they were sometimes, but that's nobody's business but their own. You don't have to come out to anyone. You let us in, remember that. These white men trail woods with cameras, guns, and fear. Come out, wherever you are, whatever you are. Why would you trust that? Will you teach me how to disappear?
Sammy Paloma. Yay. Online audience watching at home. Don't think you've been left out of the QR code fun. We want you to contribute as well. So if you've got like inherently feminist acts of self-care, get on the QR code. Well, think of them first, obviously. Share them. And then Holly Mobley is going to stitch them together in a quilt of poetry. I don't know. Oh, we've got some suggestions. Can you give us a little taste?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've got elasticate, which is
Elasticate, what, just one word? Elasticate. I'm getting it. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's a cracker. Yeah, all of that. There's some more stuff, basically. I don't want to like nick all of it because you'll, leave us wanting more. So you've got the time that the headliner's going to take to stitch them all together. And you've got that time as well, audience watching online and audience in the Rougemont room. Share your ideas, get them to Holly. Let's make a fabulous, fabulous poem. Phew. So now it's the time to unveil the QR code poem. Are you ready, Holly? You've taken a big sip of gin. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay, so welcome to the stage. Your ideas at home, formed into a poem by Holly Moberly.
Thank you all for your suggestions, by the way. I feel like I know you all a lot more intimately than I first did, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But here we go. It started off as a self-care poem and became a love poem, which was an interesting turnout. So we'll see how it goes. And it's called What to Do When Nicole Kidman Doesn't Love Me Back. Watch Legally Blonde. Take a bath with essential oils. Elasticate. Remove your hangnails before inserting a new Tampax. Late at night, meticulously scratch out sweet nothings from Love Heart Sweets and write fuck the patriarchy instead. Get into Scientology in the hopes that Nicole Kidman will eventually love me back. Boldly decline experiencing a crush, crushing, being crushed, telling my crush about said crush in question, resisting the urge to walk into a lamppost awaiting her voice note, her voice like nothing I've ever noted before. I heard the red lights of Amsterdam were first lit in the district of her mouth. She was limping home in the after hours of an old European city like a glittering wolf. How 12th century Gothic, how unintentionally Twilight. Crush, you make me want to listen to Mazzy Star. You make me want to mope around the house in an unwashed dressing gown. Watch me as I archetype. In this light, I am like if a lava lamp was a girl. I am the gooey colour of gay panic. To get there, you'd have to take a left at Sarah's gym shorts and exit onto Sophie's surfer girl shoulders. The difference between me and a Regency-era drama is that I hide my ability to evangelize. I have been known to cry into a fortune-telling mirror. I have been known to call this self-care. When you're a woman, everything you do becomes provocative. You could be reclaiming rhinestones into your wardrobe, and suddenly it's because your crush is busy speaking to someone else. Because you don't know what to do, it's because you call up a friend, open the beat-up Skoda of your heart and say, get in, loser. We're going shopping. Thank you.
Keep that round of applause going for the performers we've had tonight. We've had Holly Moberly, Sammy Paloma, Vanessa Kasule, Poet Inner City producers, coordinators, India and Sarisha, who helped put this on, getting this event off the ground. Keep going, keep going. Thank you to our partners at Exeter Library and the British Library, without whom none of this was possible. The Arts Council, a massive well done to the young producers that put on Build Your Warrior. My name's Mama Tokas. Thank you. Good night.